So, hi guys, and welcome back. And we are in our top 8, Mr. Pow. We're going to be getting into the action with our number 1 seed versus our number 8 seed here.
Yes, it's top 8 now, and such a full day of good Pokemon VGC today. We've seen lots of unusual Pokemon not seen in VGC very often,
Yeah, it's,
but
it's like, Blast from the Past from there and Zen, but we are seeing a little bit of variance as well, which is really fun to see. The meta has evolved to be more inclusive, a lot of different changes, a lot of different things you can play on. And right now we are going to see Leandro Carandang versus Arby in our quarter final match. We are still going to be on a BO3, but it seems it's going to be time to get started already. I've seen these players play before, both of them really at the best of the best. Looking at the rosters right now,
we'll see this team preview. Leandro having multiple cores here. We see the standard Steel Dragon Fairy core and the Sand core here from Leandro. He could lead in multiple options here, honestly. He has the Tyranitar and the Excadrill as a possible lead, or the Dragapult and a Togekiss for a piece of that follow me action.
yeah, just having all of that sand. It's very meta composition here for Leandro. But on Arby's side, it's interesting enough, he has a Meowstic male on his side. And the Meowstic, of course, is so pesky. Can also have that prankster. We don't see it too often compared to the usual ones, especially like the Grimmsnarl or even like
The Whimsicott. It's
yeah.
very interesting you say Whimsicott's mentioned because he
He's there
actually
too.
has Whimsicott here.
Whimsicott
He
is
has
there
two
too.
prankster Pokemon here on his side. We'll see how that plays out for him.
Yeah, that's
Especially with on his side, he does have a similar core of Dragon Steel and Fairy here with Duraludon, Whimsicott, and Excadrill.
And I'm seeing a G-Max Charizard there, and that is, of course, of the Blaze variant, since we are on Season 2 rule set still. But, Blaze is still fine. It does work in a pinch, basically make you a little stronger, but usually you see those Charizards go from 100 to 0 real quick. That's why it's not as effective as can be Handshake right now between our two players. But it's going to be time to get into the action. Ryan or Leandro on the left versus Dahyun or Arby on the right. BO3 action yet again in this top 8. Closer and closer getting to the finals. We'll see what Top Cut has to offer.
We'll see Arby leading with that Meowstic and that Duraludon versus the Dusclops and the Dragapult of Leandro. The Dusclops and Dragapult in a very different speed tiers, as one is slow and one is blazing fast.
Yeah, and there you go. Dusclops gonna spot that out with the Frisk Seas, especially that Assault Fest onto that Duraludon size. Already saying, okay, the Duraludon all has offensive moves, gonna be a little tankier against that special defense. We'll see how they are gonna adjust on the fly. Dusclops, of course, can potentially set up something like the Trick Room, but should have a number of other things in its favor. Can go for a few different status moves, can go for like an Alice Switch or something. We'll see what the Dusclops has to offer. Here for Leandro's side, the Dragapult though looking primed to get a KO this early on.
We haven't seen what the Dragapult has bought this set, because Dragapult a very versatile Pokemon. We don't know if it's physical or special here.
Yeah, we'll see though. Here comes the Quick Ball getting Dynamaxed on. It's a very quick Dynamax to start things off. And yes, the Dragapult, of course, gonna get Dynamax on over. Looking to be sweeper, looking to be as potent as can be in this matchup. In the meantime, how will Arby respond? Yeah, is that Meowstic on the field? Prankster, of course, as we said before, can be something to deal with. Oh, Dynamax onto the Duraludon instead.
I assume it's Duraludon because
No, Meowstic.
said the Dynamax Prankster Meowstic.
Yes, there you go. Status moves totally work during Dynamax, no guys. Please don't believe that. Duraludon, of course, a prime choice to be as potent as possible. Get the damage done early into the game already. But here we go with the first wave of moves. Speaking of the wave, it's a Thunder Wave on to that Dragapult speed control in favor of RB already. Gonna slow things down. Darkness though.
Max Darkness. Possibly KO the Dragapult. No, it's bulky enough to survive a Max Darkness from the Duraludon.
Yeah, half HP and a dream. But the real question is, can the Dragapult get the move on? Yes, it is. Phantasm right now. Onto the Meowstic. Looking for revenge. Gonna get that KO to start things off. Leandro shrugging off the paralysis like it was just something he slept on over something he can't move anymore.
Let's see what the Dusclops has to do now against the Duraludon here. He does set up the Trick Room, which is very interesting now that, especially now that the Dragapult is Thunder Wave with that half speed, he's probably gonna outspeed that Duraludon in the Trick Room.
Yeah, really good read there from Leandro. Was he expecting something like the Thunder Wave from the Meowstic? Especially expecting, hey, it's a prankster, it can be just something to deal with me early on, get that priority over in this matchup. Leandro in a prime spot. Usually you'd expect, oh, the Dragapult's not gonna work well in the Trick Room, but hey, Leandro has made it work, and right now he is looking to take the advantage as the Rotom Wash comes out for Arby.
We have to hope though that he doesn't get paralyzed here on his turn, because well, one turn that he doesn't attack and he could be dead here. If he doesn't KO the Duraludon, I'm pretty sure the Duraludon will KO him.
You know, a chance in the dream. We'll see what Leandro has to offer. But the Dusclops gonna go first. Nightshade right now, connecting onto that Rotom. Barely tickles, 50 HP going down. Wormwood though, actually gonna connect. It seems like Paralysis truly is just a state of mind over something physical. As Leandro right now, 2 Mons ahead. Looking good so far, even lowering the attack onto that Duraludon. Good type moves there from that Dragapult in this matchup. Darkness though, in response, will it finally get the KO? It got a lot of damage early on, gets the kill. Arby still having his Dynamax Pokemon onto the field, but advantage on Leandro's side, has the speed in his favor, has the Trick Room up and about.
You have to remember now, the Duraludon is at -1 speed and -1 defense and -1 attack. So the Duraludon has to be careful when the Tyranitar or the Excadrill comes in later.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little scary, especially what Leandro has on that bench. That Sand Core, always so potent. But here comes the Excadrill from Arby. He's expecting the Tyranitar here from Leandro.
He
The
does
Sand
read
will
it
be set
right.
on up, but does the Sand Rush actually work well in a Trick Room scenario?
It actually works against him here
Yeah,
in this,
exactly.
now that the Trick Room is up. Oh, but it is Mold Breaker, not Sand Rush,
Okay.
as we first thought.
So Mold Breaker instead for the Excadrill should be able to potentially get on ahead. We'll see what's this turn is gonna give us as the Sandstorm is out and about. The Tyranitar a little slower on to that trigger finger, should be able to go ahead actually of the Excadrill into this regard. It's really a question of, can Duraludon move first, or will the T-Tar be the one moving on in?
The question is also if the Tyranitar wants to target the Excadrill or the Duraludon, especially that the Duraludon is is at -1 defense.
Okay, Dusclops still propping that Bulldoze will get the weakness policy on, so that Tyranitar is ready to pounce and get that damage done. Special attack going on up as well, effective onto the Excadrill and Duraludon. Speed's going down onto the Excadrill, onto Duraludon as well. Not really too effective here on Trick Room, and it's also a weakness policy onto the Excadrill side. Both sides taking advantage of that one Bulldoze. Will it be enough for one Mon to go? That's superpower!
And it does kill the Duraludon even through that Dynamax double HP.
And you know, remember like in Superman, right? He can lift the buildings. That's just basically what T-Tar did. Lifted, threw that skyscraper away. The Duraludon's gone. Arby right now, 1 Pokemon in. High power onto the Dusclops. Barely got any damage done. And this is looking really, really clean for Leandro.
Dusclops, such a bulky boy. Can survive actually so many hits from many of the common meta threats right now. That's why he's probably one of the most popular Trick Room setters in this format.
Yeah, and holding that Eviolite, not evolving into that Duskmar later on. People have said the Dusclops is a little better. There are really some of those mons that, hey, you just keep them as their pre-evolutions. They do different things like Mr. Mime over Mr. Rhyme, just like Galarian Corsola over Cursula. Melodic though, going to be coming out in the field. The Dusclops has done its job, and it's going to be a type advantage here. And now superpower though from the Tyranitar, this time onto the Excadrill. Doesn't even need that Melodic onto the field. Leandro gonna take this game 1 by storm.
Very, very clean game 1 from Leandro. He read it a lot. He read Arby's plays a lot during this matchup, so he's been rewarded by a very, very quick game 1. We'll see how Arby adjusts the game to in terms of Leandro's movesets and what he's gleaned from this game 1.
Yeah, people just watching this matchup unfold. Leandro and Arby looking to realize, looking to figure out what to do into this game number 2. But Arby, he did try to bring something new to the table. Go for that Meowstic, go for that Prankster. Just be as pesky as possible. Right now we have an admin just fixing things up as is tradition in some VGC. You know, it's always funny to see how people interact in the VGC. It's like even in major tournaments you see people moving around, shuffling like that.
Sometimes even it's not just admins. There's been cases of coaching in some events. I've heard at least.
Yeah, anyway, guys, let's get back into our team preview yet again. It is still Leandro and Arby having, of course, those same rosters. Now, the real question is, will Arby swap that Meowstic out for the Whimsicott in this regard? Should be able to use that grass typing to a good degree, especially against all these ground type mons to begin with, especially all against all that sand antics. But Leandro having a pretty tough core to begin with. He can just go for the same old thing to go into this game number 2.
I feel like if Arby wants to bring the Whimsicott, he might as well bring the Charizard and the Rotom for that traditional fire water grass core. It may give him troubles with. It may help him deal with the sand core more often, but I'm not sure of how much it will help against the Dragapult right now.
Yeah, the Dragapult is so scary and so versatile as we've said before. The T-Tar has been exposed to get that weakness policy. RB as well showing that it's the Extra having that same item. So that Mold Breaker instead of the Sand Rush, so it will still be able to be a little okay in Trick Room. It's not the fastest Pokemon, but it's not the slowest either. It's somewhere in the higher mid, like 60 percentile-ish.
Yeah, it's very above. It's a very above average Pokemon when it comes to its stats. Very well rounded as well.
Yeah, so it really does have a lot of shapes and forms, but it does have that Mold Breaker to try and just break the mold basically and not be in a super speed scenario. But anyway, we'll go into map number 2 right here, right now. Leandro versus Arby yet again.
We'll see how they change up their leads. Here we go. Whimsicott Duraludon for Arby's side and the Sand Core for Leandro's side.
So yeah, Sandcore here for Leandro to start things off. Sandstorm and the Sand Rush, I believe, going to be coming online here and now. No Trick Room antics as of yet, but that Whimsicott can be able to control all the speed in the world into this one. Whimsicott also a little scary if it does have those stab moves on, grass type moves. It'll be pretty effective in a matchup like this.
He has to be careful though about hitting the Tyranitar because as you've seen from the first game, he does pack the weakness policy. Actually, very Whimsicott, he cannot kill the Tyranitar through Dynamax.
Yeah, and that T-Tar doesn't even care about self-proccing its weakest policy right now because there is an opportunity there from RB's side. In the meantime, the X-Drill can potentially be a buff Pokemon. It does have that Sand Rush, so it can go for something like the Sword Stance if it has it, as well as multiple other moves to go on the offensive. The Duraludon we have noticed that is more on to the attacking end, all about that Assault Fest. Really, I feel like Leandro won that information game earlier into game 1.
He did, yeah. Going into game 2, he does know what the Duraludon probably is carrying this game. And we do see the Dynamax on this Tyranitar. Let's see what Arby's answer to this Dynamax Tyranitar is.
Yeah, can Arby keep up with the pressure, especially with the sand flowing into his veins? As here comes the fake tears though from the Whimsicott. It seems like the Duraludon is setting up to knock something down. A little help there from the Whimsicott will never hurt.
It is the Excadrill though that did fake tears, which is very interesting.
Yeah, he wants to go for the Excadrill. Here we go though with Iron Head onto the Whimsicott, but it doesn't really matter. The Sand Buffet should be able to get that takedown there. Flash Cannon though from the Duraludon, looking for the takedown onto the Excadrill. Not going to be enough.
Not enough despite the fake tears.
Yeah, not very effective whatsoever. Steel type move against a Steel type. Not going to be a pretty good way to go about things.
Axe Knuckle just to set up its attack without needing to proc its own weakness policy. Now this Tyranitar's at +1. It's getting scarier and scarier.
And the Whimsicott gonna go down. All kinds of control here from RB, isolated and obliterated, unless he has that Meowstic in reserve. The real question is, does he have his own X-Drill there? Yes, he does. Mold Breaker versus Sand Rush right now. Leandro gonna have the advantage in terms of that speed. But
I can only assume that this might be his Dynamax Pokemon here, unless he's brought either the Rotom or the Charizard.
Like the real point of contention here is how speedy is RB's Excadrill to begin with. Like if it actually finds a way to be ahead of the other Excadrill, then it's probably a max speed one in that regard, because that Sand Rush buff is just a little too strong in the sand.
Yeah, unless there's some EV weirdness going on here. I'm pretty sure the Sandrush Excadrill is supposed to outspeed
should go first.
The Mold Breaker Excadrill here.
Bro, you already see different training, 1 HP difference. Not the same. Not my Excadrill, man.
1 HP could make the difference though when it comes to Calxo at the end.
Yeah, the Raldon actually gonna get withdrawn here, and it's gonna be a Rotom Wash into the field. Now, can it actually get some offense in, or will it go down already? Oh,
There's a Max
Tyranitar!
Guard.
Deciding for the Max Guard. Arby calling that one. And here comes the Excadrill though with the Earthquake. Beautiful read actually from Arby. It prevents the Duraludon from taking damage there. Excadrill though gonna go down.
The Excadrill, not too long for this world. Only there for a snapshot of itself on the battlefield. I mean, no, that's just I'm assuming that the Duraludon here is just for maybe to switch up its moves, or I'm not sure what
Yeah,
the play is.
I like Arby's read there. He realized that Earthquake was coming, but unfortunately, just the Duraludon, the Excadrill rather, could not keep up. Could not stay alive.
Unfortunately, he did have 2 steel types on the field.
Yeah, it's just not working.
Only one Rotom here to divide between these 2 steel
Yeah,
types.
like if the Excadrill could have survived, that was weakness policy and could have actually packed a good punch. But you know, things don't happen that way sometimes, and Leandro primed to try and get the 2-0. But here comes Arby, gonna go for that Dynamax by the tail end. He's gonna be looking to try and make that one a little bigger.
Dynamax is.
It is gonna be
It
that's
is the
Rotom.
Rotom.
I was already feeling it. That this can't be the Duraludon. He's not getting so much utility. He's not getting so much use out of the Duraludon. In this matchup, the Rotom, on the other hand, has a lot of different variances as well as movesets that it can go on. And this is gonna be a rough slide. Oh, the Duraludon avoiding.
Yes. You have to remember though that Leandro still has 4 Pokemon on his side.
Yeah, Max Geyser though looking to connect.
Onto the
Tyranitar. That is too tanky to go down.
Now probably procking the weakness
And
policy.
here comes the weakness policy. The Rain Dance, though, gonna be coming online here and now. It's gonna be drizzling on over. The sand is gone. Can the Excadrill actually keep up? That's a real question against the Rotom in this scenario.
Ooh.
The Tyranitar!
Flash Cannon not enough
And it's a
despite
crit!
the critical
It's
hit.
a huge crit, but the Tyranitar stays alive, and here comes the Rockfall. It truly
Resetting
is.
all that progress onto the rain,
And
just back into the sand.
Rotom gone from this one. The only one left, Leandro, primed to move over to the semifinals just to walk on over Arby in this scenario. It was a good effort, a good read, but in the end, just the stats weren't enough to stay alive.
Tyranitar, such a good Pokemon in this matchup. Arby had such a problem, like just stalling out the Dynamax.
Yeah, Leandro just one turn away from victory unless something freaky happens in this regard. The Duraludon might be able to go on ahead as the Excadrill is... No, never mind. The sand is back rather, so the Sand Rush going to be in full effect. So the Excadrill going to be looking to go for that first hit. T-Tar though with the Protect, making sure that it's going to be able to stay alive just in case anything else happens. Earthquake right now from the Excadrill.
He's making sure that he gets the full 4-0 sweep.
Yeah, coverage all around. Protect, saving that Tyranitar. And
then
Leandro
there's the
will
handshake.
take the 2-0 to move on over to that semifinals. Apparently we have just got word that it has been a 2-0 day here in the quarterfinals. But it is what it is, guys. It was such a good show there from Leandro. Arby trying his best to go for some really interesting reads. I like how he's been using his brain, his IQ, his game knowledge to predict those moves, but
Unfortunately, Tyranitar really just
doesn't really care.
it doesn't care.
It doesn't
Like,
care about what you do. It's just like, I'm just gonna kill you.
It doesn't care, especially in the sand. It's like, oh, Duraludon, no thank you. I have special defense for this.
Yes, exactly. And the Duraludon really not having the best matchup there, to be honest.
Not against Earthquake. Not especially not when you bring 2 steel types.
Yeah, and fake tears onto a steel type, it just didn't pan out. But anyway, guys, we are getting ready for our semifinals. We'll be right back after just a bit, so stick around.